and welcome to this week's edition of the Horror Debate. I'm Michael Mandy, he's Rowdy Jeff.
And this week we're taking a look at another one of the 8 films to die for. This one entitled Unrest from 2006, directed by Jason Todd Ibsen, and starring Allison Blanchard.
Britney Spears' stunt
double.
double.
I was going to say, she looked just like Britney, man.
Britney's stunt double.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, it's not.
And
before she shaved her head.
But,
Corey English.
A lot of other guys that I never even heard of. But you know what the funny thing of this whole thing is we found out that Jessica Alba has a brother.
Joshua.
Right? Joshua and Jessica.
He's in this.
Yeah, so he's not nearly as good looking as she is.
No.
Just my opinion. Okay. Anyway, what are we talking about, Mike?
We're talking a film about basically a bunch of first-year medical students, and they're taking gross anatomy in this hospital, and Corey English's character, Allison, has to stay in the hospital on one of the abandoned floors, so that helps create the
of course
the
that's
isolation. Yeah, in horror films you have to have isolation.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, it's about 5 people, and they're dissecting a body, and strange murders and strange things seems to be happening all around.
You know, I got to say right off the top, I loved the way this film opened. It opened creepy, weird. I mean, you were basically focused in on this woman's eyes, and you were kind of floated around her head as she stared at you through the camera, which was, it kind of had these weird kind of evil looks to her.
It's one of the most unusual introductions to a film I've ever seen.
I liked that, man. That worked for me. I got all excited about the project as soon as I saw that.
You got excited because you thought it was a porn.
No. I thought, that was an original, like you said, an original opening that caught you off guard, but it really just kind of, started at like full bore.
It really sucked you into the film, didn't it? Because you were just right off the bat, what is going on? What am I watching? What is going on?
Your brain started moving on that one immediately, man. So that was a welcome opening there, and to be honest with you, this is the second film we've looked at in the 8 films to die for. Again, I think that intensity-wise,
these 8 films to die for were promising films too shocking to be seen in the normal theater.
Well, at least in this one we got some gore.
Yes, this one had more gore.
Yeah.
It was also really creepy.
It was
kind of disturbing because here they are working on dead bodies, interestingly enough, this film was the first film to use real live dead bodies in it.
That's right, and unfortunately though, I thought with the younger people in the movie, I kind of felt like we were watching like a the Halloween edition of Dawson's Creek. I don't know. It just kind of...
Well, first-year med students are supposed to be in their early 20s.
Sure, and it's not just the age, though. It was kind of the way the dialogue was scripted and everything. It really felt kind of, like WB-40-ish. I don't know. But not necessarily in a break the movie kind of way. I just noticed that where it was kind of like. I wouldn't say family-friendly dialogue, but it was pretty darn close, And, like we were saying before, these 8 films to die for were supposed to be just the most over-the-top, gory, creepy, weird, nasty, just insanely over-the-top that, if you couldn't watch these in a regular theater. You had to see them at the festival or on the DVD box set. So I'm not sure we achieved that. In this movie, it's kind of a middle-of-the-road kind of flick, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, this did give me a little more than the first film of this series we saw. This I can see where it would disturb enough audiences to make it part of the 8 films to die for section.
Maybe.
Just in terms of what they,
Are we asking too much, though? I mean, are we?
Know.
I mean, going into this thing, we were real jazzed that we were going to see some crazy stuff. And
well, this wasn't really crazy. It was more disturbing and more kind of, I don't know. Disturbing's kind of unsettling. How's that?
It certainly
it was creepy.
I'll tell you, the opening was unsettling.
After
this film
the
had
opening,
some creeps
in
it was a little unsettling. I thought, messing with cadavers really doesn't scare me or freak me out, or it is maybe a little unpleasant.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This film had a lot of unpleasant. It's kind of like are they going to reach their hand in the formaldehyde tank?
That was nasty.
You wouldn't get me doing that.
That was nasty.
So,
I mean, these people were crawling into the formaldehyde tank. I mean, it was ugly.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way. You could have drugged me and thrown me in there. It wouldn't have happened, you know? I mean, unbelievable. I mean, that part of it definitely worked. I think this was a better film than the first one we reviewed in several ways. You know, I thought the story flowed well. It got a little talky.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's not something that I like so much, but it worked.
Well, this film is not the kind of film where there's like a Jason Voorhees type character walking down the halls,
Correct.
slashing and hacking. This is more, I don't want to say cerebral, but it's more almost like a ghost story.
Yeah.
So it's very dialogue driven.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I mean, it felt really talky, but it made sense. It didn't go too far off the beaten path with the dialogue. You know, I like I said, it's kind of I wasn't excited about it going in. I'm not excited about it now. I was kind of unaffected by it. I think that the best compliment that I can give it is that it did deliver in the gore. You know, well, not really. I don't know so much gore. Is gore the right word for this thing? Because it's kind of like just like seeing body parts.
Yeah, that's basically what the gore was, body parts.
But is that what we would consider gore, though? You know, I mean...
Well, there was a leg chopped off and body parts scattered all over the floor.
Yeah, I guess a little bit, but, you know, I tend to look at these... I think this came up in our Hostel review or our Hostel 2 review. I kind of look at you know, body parts and you know, cadavers and things like that. I mean, we can see this stuff on TLC, man. I don't know. Does TLC have gore? I mean, you know, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
I don't know. I haven't watched TLC lately, Jeff.
How would you classify this? I mean, it wasn't a lot of brutality.
No, it wasn't a brutal type film, but what we're saying gore is, I guess what we mean is Caro syrup and prosthetic parts.
Well, once
but
again,
then again, it says this used real body parts. They didn't say what scenes.
Right.
That might be on the special features.
But once again, you know, are we so far over the line with this movie? Are we getting what we were advertised? I mean, did they fulfill their promise with this movie?
Well, okay, I wouldn't die for this film. What
would you die for? What?
I don't know. If Corey English removed more than just that outer shirt, I'd probably aim for that. But no, she kept her bra on the whole time.
Right, man.
Yeah, she kept her bra on the whole time.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like maybe we went into these movies with really high expectations.
Well, I can see, like I said, where this would be disturbing enough where the MPAA would say, "Oh no, we're going to put this as an NC-17."
You know, maybe
because you can't have real bodies.
But you know what?
Screen.
Isn't that the point of this festival? Isn't that the point of these DVDs? Is to so you get the full blown gig. You're not getting the R-rated. You're getting like the whole thing, the whole enchilada, as I like to say, man. You know, and I just don't feel it. I unfortunately, again, I don't think they went all that far over the line.
So you think the director of this film, Jason Todd Ibsen, should have gone a little further in what? The gore? I
think this would be a great movie for a general release. I don't think putting it into the 8 Films to Die For moniker does it any justice.
So this is a film you would, sprain your knee in.
Yeah, you know, I mean, I didn't feel the intensity that I was promised. I didn't see the scares. I think it started off with the promise. I mean, like I said, that opening scene for me was like, wow, this is different. It's cool. It's freaky. You know, I said, I'm liking this. And then it just kind of it tapered off.
Well, ignoring the fact that it was part of the 8 Films to Die For series, just looking at it as its own individual merits, as its own separate film, I kind of like this film, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
It was original.
Yeah.
In terms of, hospital drama, how original can you be? But in terms of a horror film, the ideas presented in this and the things they showed and did, I'll give it some points for originality. And I tell you, Corey English was easy on the eyes to look at. I don't know, it was kind of creepy and had an interesting mood. I think throughout the whole film, so
I think it had a vibe to it.
Yeah.
It definitely had a vibe to it, but again, I have to keep going back to it because, it's being included in a set that is advertised a certain way. Okay, I don't think we achieved that. Okay, on its own merits, outside of that box set, outside of that festival, oh yeah, I say yes. It's a real decent flick. I don't think it belongs in the box set. That's what I'm trying to say.
All right, so how many stars are you going to get?
Well,
give it,
let me
Jeff?
talk about the video here. You're always trying to get me to end these reviews too quick, man. Here, let me talk about the video. Same thing applies here, and I think we could probably expect all of these things to be mastered video-wise this way, where the widescreen is not wide enough. It's basically cut off on the left and the right, and I'm sure it's not cutting off any picture, but it's a little annoying when you have a widescreen TV and you're still getting black bars on the left and right. This movie was...
Bottom, you mean?
No, I'm talking about the black bars on the left and the right.
Gotcha.
I'm talking about the space because you're not getting it full, fully across your screen. The black bars on the top and the bottom, when you have something that's shot in like 235:1, you still get the black bars. The only time it fills the screen is at 185:1. Then it looks great. I prefer 185:1, but a lot of directors like that extra wide take so they can fit more information on the screen. So, but this movie, it looked like it was doing like a 235:1, but not fully. It just didn't fill the entire screen, which was kind of weird. Sound-wise, like I said, it was so talky, so dialogue-driven. There wasn't a lot of information presented in the rears. Maybe the African or whatever it was, boogada, boogada.
Boy, I tell you, that music just made... The guy is just standing in a library looking at a book, and boy, that was the most exciting library music. I mean, it just... you expected it to be a huge army killing everybody in sight, but it's just one guy looking at a book in a library.
I can picture you with the soundtrack to this, Mike. I can picture you with the soundtrack. You like the Reanimator soundtrack, so I think you're right at home with this.
Oh, this one sounded like the soundtrack to Shaka Zulu, man.
So anyway, stars-wise with this, I'm going to go with... kind of right down the middle again. It's less than I expected, but it was still a decent movie. I think it's categorized wrong. I think it's in the wrong box set. It's grouped wrong, but on its own merits, it wasn't a bad movie. It actually was entertaining, had its freaky moments, and using a real cadaver, man. It gets a point just for that. So I'm 3 in it.
Yeah, to me it's a solid 3. Like I said, the mood in it was in a scary movie like this, mood is everything. Yeah. I mean, if you don't have the right style and mood, you can't believe all the crazy stuff that goes on.
You got to have the vibe. Yeah. This movie definitely had the vibe.
Yeah, so 3 stars.
3 from me, too.
All right, I'm Michael Mandy. He's Rowdy Jeff. We will talk to you next week when we do another one of these 8 Films to Die For at the Horror Debate.